Tell me about the issues you're having, please.
Our biggest issue is theft. Generally not in our presence. When we see it occurring, of course, we attempt to intervene, but mostly after dark, the sort of thing that people that like to remove things and don't like confrontation, they come in after dark and help themselves.
Tell me about some of this. Give me a few examples how some have been so bold as they do it right in front of the volunteers.
Yes. One day a woman rushed up on her bicycle, a nice bike, nicely dressed woman, only in maybe 30s or 40s, and promptly started handling the tomatoes. And when I quickly approached her, she told me that they would ripen on her counter. I was trying to tell her, don't take them, they're not even ripe. She said, they'll ripen on my counter. Then she proceeded to do the same to our bed of pepper squash, and I had to chase her off. But she has returned to the garden, and we assume that half of our food products are going there. But we also have even more theft amongst the flowers, all the various pollinator plants. Because it's an ecology garden, we're very interested in adding to the pollinator plant population. And mostly people tend to think of these as weeds, but for some reason when we grow them and they look so lovely, people come by and get them. They want butterflies too.
Tell us about how, I believe how you mentioned how flowers were planted one night and the next day they were replaced.
Yes, one of our new volunteers took on a new bed, cleaned it out of her own pocket, put in 12 brand new plants. And a couple of days later, when she came to water them again, 5 of them had been replaced. And to add insult to injury, the thief dug up some weeds from across the boardwalk and stuck them in the holes, hoping, I guess, we wouldn't notice. But we do notice our own plants from the others. Yes.
How does this make you folks feel? It must be
It's sad, and sometimes it makes you angry, because we're all working very hard. We're not young people by and large, and it takes an awful lot of love and effort to make this garden as healthy and as beautiful as it is. We put in long hours, and a lot of it is done out of our own pockets. So the volunteers are frequently upset when it happens. I try to caution them that this is not a problem only for this garden, but for any public space that has attractive plants. And it's something that we're certainly accustomed to. We know it's not going away. Each year the garden gets better, and each year the thieves get better.
A lot of this, explain about the cost, because you said the town kicks in some, which is, I'm sure, greatly appreciated, but I mean the vast majority of it is paid for by volunteers.
That's right. We apply for a grant every year. We get about $2,000. And out of that, we have to pay insurance that comes in at $700 or $800. And then the rest of that grant generally goes for soil, but even that is not enough to cover the amount of soil we need, because this is very poor land for introducing pollinator plants and the like, for extending it, for doing making efforts for biodiversity and permaculture. So we remediate the soil a lot, and we put in all these lovely sunflowers and these vegetable gardens and new plants in the various beds. So at the end of the year, we're probably spending another $6,000 out of our own pockets. We try to do some fundraising, and we do some contacts with some of the businesses in town. But it takes a lot of effort on our part to raise that kind of money. So a lot of it comes out of our own pockets.
The vast majority, because I'm sure you folks obviously know what you're doing, and you can tell this isn't basically a family walking along the boardwalk and a child accidentally picking.
We welcome that. You know, for a child to come in and want to pick a flower for his mummy, that's lovely. Sometimes people will come by and ask if they can have a little bit of herbs. Maybe they're doing salmon tonight and they want a bit of that dill. We don't mind that. We always agree. It's when people come in and completely remove the whole plant completely or strip it of all its fruit. And as I say, that's not usually done in our presence.
What type of plants are they doing?
The pepper plants they pick, the tomatoes they pick, the squash, the herbs. Sometimes they dig up the whole herb plant instead of just taking a slip.
Sunflowers?
The sunflowers, oh my goodness, yes. They'll cut sunflowers and the cone flowers to make bouquets and sit at the table and prepare their bouquets without any obvious awareness that what they're doing is wrong.
Have you reported this to police?
Yes, we've filed a number of reports with police, and they do send patrols, but obviously people aren't going to do things like that when the police are around. So there's not a lot the police can do. You can't set up cameras throughout a space this size.
What would you ask people to do then? Here's,
Oh, come in and love the garden and respect the garden. Maybe help the gardeners. If there's something you would like to try, you want a sliver of herb or to test one of those peppers to see whether they're hot or not, talk to us. We're generally very accommodating. We appreciate your interest in our produce, in our plants, and we don't mind sharing. We just like to be the ones to tell you which plants are ready and which aren't and how much you can have, etc. We're happy to share.